Australia is known as a nation of swimmers. Is it really? Or are we just really good at getting to the Olympics and getting medals there? When we have people and families come through, they get to a certain level with the children and they go, oh, we're done now. My child knows how to swim 20, 30 meters. We're done. And I think there's a real danger there.
I think there's a bit of a difference between learning to swim and water safety. They're pretty much two separate topics. One is about the strokes and learning to swim physically, and the other is how do you be water safe. And this is not just in the pool. This is before you even get in the water. Can you identify rips, or is there dangers in the water? Or it's two complete separate things.
Voice aajKal, our medium, your message.
Good day, everyone. My name is Navneet Anand from Voice aajKal, our medium, your message. And message for today is very, very close to my heart. That water safety is not optional. It is essential. This is what has been going on the media for the last few days. So I thought, why not I invite two professionals from Swimz Guilford. Anubedi, Rachel Walls, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
First of all, congratulations for the success of Swimz Guilford.
Thank you very much.
Tell me a bit about it.
So Swimz Guilford came about 8 years ago. So I come from a corporate background, and I decided to give that up, to give something back to the community, do something that actually makes a difference. And I thought, what better way than to teach a life skill? And so at Swimz Guilford, we've been operational for 8 years. We teach kids to swim from 3 months old onwards. And we've gone from success to success and various, we've done a lot of community work, and it's just grown and grown.
And Rachel, you've been associated for a while now?
Yes, I've been there pretty much since it opened. I'm the manager at Swimz Guilford, and I think it's the best swim school, but I'm a little biased on that.
With the latest communication that is all over the media, as I said right in the beginning, that water safety is not optional, it's essential. And it has been on media all around, wherever I could see. Yes. Tell me a bit more about it.
So the shocking news here is that, since December 24th, no matter how much we talk about water safety, and we, in the CAL community especially, it's like, oh, we'll put our children through swimming lessons. The reality is that since December this year, we've had about 10 drownings just in the Sydney area. That includes children, that includes adults, and that includes swimmers and non-swimmers. So it's really quite shocking. So then you've got to question, Australia is known as a nation of swimmers. Is it really? Or are we just really good at getting to the Olympics and getting medals there? So there's a huge gap. There's a huge issue. And we, as professionals that work in the industry, need to do something about this. And we need the community support. We need government support in actually getting this message out about water safety, what it means. Is swimming enough? What else do we need?
As you just said, that Australians are known for the love for the water all around the world. And we produced many champions in swimming, but still there are drownings that are happening in the country. But still we are losing a lot of lives due to drowning in Australia. It's very, very ironic. What measures do you think we need to take more?
Sure. I think, with migration and a lot of we're very multicultural now. I think education there is still a big gap in education. I sit on the board for Swim Australia, and I know that as a peak body, we do a lot of work in this space. We've got committees that are set up to get out and reach out to communities that would not normally be out there surfing and, very much with the beach culture or anything. Yet the message is still not going down to the grassroots levels. Because what we find, and Rachel, you might want to add to this, is that when we have people and families come through, they get to a certain level with the children and they go, oh, we're done now. My child knows how to swim 20, 30 meters. We're done. And I think there's a real danger there. Would you agree, Rach?
I think there's a bit of a difference between learning to swim and water safety. They're pretty much two separate topics. One is about the strokes and learning to swim physically, and the other is how do you be water safe. And this is not just in the pool. This is before you even get in the water. Can you identify rips, or is there dangers in the water? Or, it's two complete separate things we're talking about here.
According to you, what percentage of drowning is the lack of swimming skills? Because normally what we see is compared to the toddlers, which is negligence.
It's very hard to put a figure down to it, I think. I'd say it's 50-50, it's half and half. And the really interesting thing about toddlers is, at Swimz Guilford, we run water safety sessions outside of the water. So we will actually come out to sites, we'll go to preschool, schools, etc., and run these water safety sessions that teach you about the stuff that Rachel touched on. Because water safety is not just a summer issue. It's an all year round issue because you touched on toddlers, right? A toddler's top heavy. So at home, even if you don't have a pool, you've got buckets of water sometimes, right? A bucket of water is dangerous enough. A puddle is dangerous enough because if a toddler falls down, loses their balance, falls into the water, it's going to be very difficult for them to get up again. And so you can have near drownings with a little bit of water like that, which our communities certainly don't seem to understand. So like Rachel said, when we're talking about swimming skills and water safety skills, this is the stuff we teach in water safety skills. And it's for everyone. It's from toddlers up to adults. It's for non-swimmers and swimmers. So when we're out there teaching a 3-month-old, we have parents go, what does a 3-month-old learn in the water? Yeah, sure. We can't make them an Olympian, not yet. But certainly what we're teaching them is to buy time in case something happens.
Right. I'm putting emphasis back onto the point that you made. Learning swimming and water safety are two separate issues.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me now after I heard it. Put a bit more light on that.
Yep. So I would say water safety is it's probably even more broader than actual Learn to Swim program.
Mm-hmm.
Water safety, we're talking about, when we go out to our daycare centres, when we go out to schools, when we host in-house water safety sessions. We have a whole water safety week at Swimz Guilford as well. We talk about, what is the red and yellow flags at the beach? A lot of people don't know. If you go down to your local beach, you'll have people swimming outside the flags. They don't know what the rules are, what they actually mean. So we're educating children from a young age to, maybe their parents don't get to learn these things, but hopefully they go down to the beach with their parents and say, oh, Mum, I learned at school, you have to stay between the red and yellow flags. We're trying to educate all aspects of water safety. It's just so broad. Another water safety thing that we try and touch on is even when you're at home in your pool, making sure, your parents always watching you. We focus a lot on the children aspect. So we're hoping that they can say, no, Mum, you can't leave me in the pool by myself. You have to be supervising me. You have to be watching me. Most council pools will have a policy, or aquatic centres, where the parent has to be within arm's reach up to a certain age. We try and focus on all these sorts of aspects within water safety because, children can sometimes tell their parents, oh, I learned this. This is what we're meant to do. And a lot of the time, the parents are the uneducated ones.
I emphasize once again, water safety is not optional. It is essentials. And Australia being such a multicultural country, we got migrants coming from all over the world and people from subcontinent like me, where water sport is nowhere near. We haven't learned swimming. So me being at the age of 56 still have to go in the pool and start learning swimming. Today, I pledge myself, I would go in the pool, start learning swimming, not only for the sake of learning swimming, but at the same time, being an ambassador for others to come forward and join me in learning the swimming so that we can have message of water safety more go out to the public.
Absolutely.
Should the migrants like us be focused more to attain this skill of swimming?
Absolutely. Because, like Rachel touched on, where we've so far focused on children, with the focus that, hopefully the adults know, or is it assumed knowledge? The reality is, with the stats in front of us, they don't know. People don't know. People don't know what a rip is. People don't understand the dangers of small puddles of water, bigger bodies of water. And water operates very differently in an controlled swimming pool environment where you're being taught how to swim versus a beach. So there's a huge aspect of adult learning here, I think. And so we're now at Swimz Guilford looking at, we've already collaborated with another organization called Her Swim School.
Mm-hmm.
And so they actually teach women from CAL communities
Right.
and they utilize our facilities as well. And they're across actually Sydney and Western and Southern Sydney mostly, where they're teaching women how to swim in very private setups, because a lot of women are, a little bit hesitant to go out to the bigger aquatic centers. So we're helping them do that. Additionally, we're also have received some support from New South Wales government now, and we'll be looking at launching a program shortly to get more migrant women from CAL communities into swimming lessons. And the hope is that, you educate the kids, you educate the women, and, hopefully the next step is men. But you educate a community that way. You educate the family. So that's sort of our goal, and that's where we're heading, but very, very critical, because these drownings that we've seen, they're across the board. And I think the Royal Life report from last year showed that 25% of total drownings came from people born overseas.
Well, the people born overseas, and especially women, sometimes they shy away of wearing a two-piece suit to be there in the water. But what I have realized that there are clothing, the swimwears that have come with the full body covers as well.
Yep, definitely. I wear one myself. There's so many options where I think we're in a very progressive world now, where we're all over reducing the barriers to participation for swimming for everyone.
Lovely. You were just talking about the rips a few minutes ago. There on the beach, does the real swimmers get caught in the rips as well at times?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, we've had incidences. Very strong swimmers have been caught and have had near drownings. In fact, a very famous Olympian it was a bit of a test sort of thing, but they were in a rip and they swam strongly. But the reality was, when you watched them, they was trying to swim against it. So they're swimming, trying to get back to shore. If you looked at them, they were not moving because the rip is so strong. So what do you do in a rip? Do you swim against it? No, you don't, actually. You actually go with the flow, and it'll get you to a safe spot. What happens, the biggest issue with drownings, not the biggest, but one of the big issues with drowning is not that you know how to swim or you don't know how to swim. It's the fact that when you get put in a position like that, some people panic. It's the panic that sets in. And once panic sets in, you might be fumbling around and trying to swim. All you're doing is wasting energy.
Interesting.
And losing time.
Going back to my other question, is it ever too late to learn how to swim?
No, not at all. So I'm really proud of you that you have committed to learning to swim now. And because it is absolutely never too late. And once you learn swimming, it is a little bit like learning how to ride a bike. I don't think you can ever forget it. When our message to adults would be like, it doesn't matter. We're not expecting people to become sort of Olympians or anything like that, but learn to swim, learn some water skills, learn how to float. It's a huge deal. If you're in trouble and you can float, you are buying yourself time. And that time is there for someone to come save you if you are in trouble. So learn how to, breathe underwater, because most people from our communities hate to put their face in the water.
Mhm.
It's because they don't know how to breathe, right, underwater. So learn those skills at least. Start with the basics. And what you find is you'll start to enjoy it, especially in a country like Australia. And, go out to the beaches, go out to these waterways. There's so much stuff that's also opening up around sort of Western Sydney. Enjoy it rather than kind of being fearful or not knowing what to do once you get to these spots.
So why don't we have more adult swimming classes? Not enough.
I think it's just lack of interest, everyone's worried or scared, or might be a bit reputational. What are people going to think of me as an adult joining a beginner program? But our message is to really make swimming and water safety is generational. It's even if you don't put your own children into a lesson specifically, if you have the skills, you can teach them the skills and pass them along. So it's really important that you have to start somewhere, and then the message kind of goes along, even if you don't participate in swimming lessons.
So any particular initiatives for adult swimming lessons at Swimz Guilford?
Absolutely. Can I just also add to what Rachel said is the problem with adult swimming is as adults and as people with, families, what we tend to do is prioritize our children, which is fair. And even what our experience has been when we run adult sessions, people will not turn up and not be as committed to themselves as they are for their children's swimming lessons. So if you do enroll, attend. Not just say it, not just pay for it, but attend and actually learn. Where at Swimz Guilford, we're going to be running our own aajKal community-based swimming program. It is going to be free. So I would absolutely encourage our community to, if the ladies don't know how to swim, it will be in a private facility. Our water is heated to 32 to 34 degrees, which is basically kind of the level of the temperature you'd be having a shower or bath in. So it's really nice and comfortable. And with, teachers from Cal communities as well teaching. So it's very comfortable. We're also going to be running some sessions, some information sessions.
Yeah,
attached
we're
to
going
it.
to do an actual water safety session outside of the pool on top of that. We're going to have a cultural chat sort of about the barriers to participation around learning to swim. We're providing free equipment. So participants do get a free rash shirt, free goggles. So that, again, there's no barriers to participation to coming into the program.
Communication of the course is the key. But other than the warning messages, how do you see people responding to the crisis in the proactive manner?
Yeah, look, I think if you think about it, each year we have this issue, right? Each year we get the stats out. Each year Royal Life publishes the information. And each year a lot of organizations kind of jump up and down and do what they can. The reality is, at the end of the day, I think the onus is on the individuals, and we can't keep saying we need, this one needs to do that or that one. You need to learn to swim. Simple as that. You need to commit, as you did. So again, very proud of you. But and you need to get your families to commit. You need to get your children in swimming lessons early, not later. So this is another trend that we are seeing, and perhaps it's a cost of living thing, but children are getting into swimming lessons later and later. Like I said, yes, we're not going to teach a 3-month-old how to become an Olympian straight off, but we'll teach them water safety skills. Most swim schools will do that. So get your kids into swimming lessons sooner rather than later. It will be easier on the parents as well, is our experience. The later you leave it, children as well build this fear. They see these stories. They're seeing these stories too. So they get fearful of water. But you put a 3-month-old, they don't know any better. They've been in water in their mum's tummy. So they don't know any different. They adapt to water a lot quicker in our experience.
Yeah. I think our biggest thing in the cold communities is that the Royal Life Saving, one of the peak bodies for the industry, had put out they had made a forum, and they put out that this is one of their key priorities is cold communities. This is what the focus needs to be, is getting more people in. It's like, I am Australian myself, and I know I attended swimming lessons from a very young age. It's just the norm. but it's about getting that norm younger and younger within CAL communities and putting a focus on water safety education.
Now, before I conclude this conversation, I emphasize once again, water safety is not optional. It is essential. So what would be the concluding message from you both?
I'd say get into lessons, educate yourselves, and don't be shy, because we're removing the barriers to this very important task. So get yourself enrolled, get your kids enrolled, and educate yourselves.
Yeah, and find your local swim school, get your children enrolled, get yourself aware of what water safety actually is.
Thank you so much, Anu Bedi and Rachel Balls from Swimz Guilford. My name is Navneet Anand, signing out for Voice aajKal, our medium, your message. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
VG Times. Be with the times.